So that was happening in the afternoon. I was at work here at home, and I remember getting a couple flickers of power, and I think we lost internet first, and then that came back. Then I think we lost power briefly, and then that came back, and then all of a sudden we lost everything. And at that point, I knew that something was wrong. Clearly, you could see the whole neighborhood was out. The wind was just super strong, and it was getting me a little bit concerned. And I guess the thing that happened after that is when I wrapped up my day, I was looking out the window at one point of our front door to the house, and I saw one of our large trees in the front just kind of lifting up slightly, and I was like, this doesn't look good at all. But I thought to myself, you know what? It's probably just obviously the wind, and maybe that's just kind of what happens. It just kind of moves the tree a little bit. But I was like, there's no way that's going to come out of the ground. It's just not possible. And I don't know why I was so confident about that, because I'm not a tree expert. Long story short, Lauren gets home, parks in the driveway. I'm parked next to her, and I'm hopping in the shower because I'm trying to just like shower up, look good, feel good, smell good, because it was our 3-year anniversary. And I had candles lit in the dining room, and we were going to have a nice sit-down dinner at home. And I was just about to get in the shower, and I heard like a weird thud. And I was like, oh, shit. And then I heard Lauren just go like, like this huge gasp. And she was like, oh, my God. So I come out of the bathroom, and I think I just had like gym shorts on and nothing else. Yeah, had no shirt on, nothing. And she was like, oh, my God. And I look out the front door, and that tree that I was looking at was now in the house. And I was like, holy shit. And it was one of those things that you don't even really have time to digest it. You're just like, okay, I gotta move. I gotta see what's going on. And she's like, honey, we gotta get out there. We're gonna go see if, the cars are okay. And I was like, no, just calm down. Like it's dangerous out there. Like I was trying to get her to not run out. And one thing led to another, and we did go out the front door, and we looked, and sure enough, the tree had hit the top of the garage and then crushed the top of my car. And I don't know why, man, but I think, again, it was just because I didn't have time to process anything. I wasn't fazed by my car being damaged. And I think it's just because I knew that I had full coverage on the insurance. We had coverage on the house. So it just, I think as like a 35-year-old man, I just was like, all right, well, this happened. And thankfully, we're all okay. And thankfully, we have insurance. Right. And that's kind of the first thing that went through my mind. And I said, I'll worry about that later. I just got to understand the fact that this tree is on the house. And just, before you know it, one of our neighbors who's a police officer, he came by and he was helping with his father and his girlfriend. They were cutting some of the branches off the car, really just helping out. They didn't even ask. They just started like doing it.
That's cool.
Like he had like one of those like little hand saws. It was like an electric handsaw.
Yeah.
And he was just like taking off small branches off the car to just kind of, I don't know, just relieve the car from some of that tree pressure. And I was standing outside with gym shorts on, no shirt, and my hair was kind of like sort of fucked up because I needed to take a shower. And I wasn't even thinking about that either, because I'm not the kind of person to like walk out of the house with no shirt on. I just don't really do that unless I'm in like the backyard maybe, but even then I just don't do it.
Sure.
And I'm having a conversation with him with no shirt on, and I'm just like, man, this is not like me, but I'm not going to think about that right now. And eventually, I'm on the phone with my brother-in-law, who's the landlord of the house. I'm calling 911. That was an experience because I've never done that before. I'm not going to lie, I was actually kind of excited to do it. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, like something's going down. So did that, fire engine showed up, police officer, ambulance.
Oh, they sent an ambulance too.
Yeah. Totally unnecessary, but I can understand the protocol.
Sure.
And we kind of created a big scene naturally. So that all happened. Power line was just completely disconnected from the house, just severed. So we knew that we were going to be without power for probably a while.
Right.
And that kind of stung because no one likes to be out of power. And the cable lines, the telephone wire for the landline phone, which we don't have, and then the internet cable line were resting underneath the tree. And I didn't even think that at that point we'd eventually get internet back once that was restored.
Right.
So basically, again, to make a long story short, we had a generator that my brother-in-law dropped off. It was a beast of a generator. At first, we were kind of very conscious about what we would plug into it. We were like, no, we can't have more than 2 phones being charged at the same time. And then eventually, like after, I don't know, maybe like 3-4 days, we had everything plugged into it. And it was working. Like we had the fridge, we had AC units eventually, we had phones charging, we had my whole workstation up and running, and I had to get a hotspot on my phone because basically at one point when the internet came back, we had internet, and then we lost it because when the tree service came up to remove the tree, they disconnected the internet lines from the house.
Right.
And that sucked because then I was like, shit, well, we don't have power. We had internet. Now we have nothing. And now I have to call Verizon and upgrade my plan twice, mind you, to get the amount of gigabytes needed for me to continue working from home. Because we used it all up like in 2 days because I had no idea there was a limit on it. So there was that. And there was unbearable heat when you guys were here, and the window AC units fixed that. So basically, it all amounted to fueling a generator a couple times a day. It was only costing me like $7 to fill like this 5-gallon tank to then pour half of it or a quarter into the generator about twice a day. And yeah, it was just this kind of back and forth of, turning the generator on, knowing what's plugged in, knowing what's not plugged in, having fans circulate air from certain rooms in different directions. It was like this big sort of like project, and I kind of just led the whole thing. And it was emotionally taxing. It was physically taxing, but we made the best of it. We had candles, we had flashlights. We were quite well prepared.